a kid, I was a porch sitter. And I learned a lot sitting on our front porch stoop about 10 steps up, safely looking down at what was going on Winchester Street, where I grew up on the near west side of Chicago. My parents had met in one of America's concentration camps for Japanese Americans back in the 40s. And we lived in a sort of halfway house that the government had set up, I guess in case neighbors were hostile to us, but I didn't know that then. At dusk, I loved sitting on my top step, looking over at the row of green operating room lights atop Cook County Hospital a few blocks away. In the evenings, the ghostly limelight on the top row of the vanilla milkshake white hospital called me to come alive, to live the life I longed for, to be free, to be all that I wanted to be. Today, Malcolm X Junior College now covers over the part of Winchester Street where my parents' 3-story boarding house for men once stood. And one day, my mom was sobbing. She said that Chuck had been killed in the war. I did not know about the World War, let alone about dying in one. When I sat on the porch waiting for all the men to come home from work, Chuck was the one who had brought me candy and golden books like the night before Christmas. I did not know that all of us in the house were Japanese Americans, and the US government had the men enlist in the army. No one ever said anything to me. Even later, when I got older, I thought I was just like everyone else. Maybe Italian? I just sat on our front porch watching the world come out of its cocoon a little at a time. I loved watching the caterpillars. There were these fat lime green monster ones that looked prehistoric because they lumbered along like dinosaur toes on the loose. Sometimes kids poked them with sticks until their insides oozed out. Here they had made it through their whole life cycle from little eggs, only to be stabbed to death for no reason. Maybe these murderers needed to see this process from the beginning, to be enthralled with it all, as I was. I stayed in my cocoon longer than most kids, I guess. It was safer that way. You could avoid kids with sticks who would stab you in the gut for no reason. Once, one of the kids in the neighborhood said to me, "My dad says you and your dad are spies, and you go to Tokyo at night and report on us." I was confused. I was 6. I didn't speak Japanese. What did I have to report? So I went inside and I told my dad what the kid had said to us. Well, the kid's dad was our precinct captain. And in those days, on the near west side of Chicago, the precinct captain came around and gave everyone cash money for voting a straight Democratic ticket. I thought that's just how things worked. And one election, my mom volunteered to work at the polling place. That's when our precinct captain came up to our house, up the steps, and screamed at our front door something about, "No Jap rat is going to sit in this ward's polling place." My dad had been an amateur boxer, and he was already ticked off about what the precinct captain's son had said about us. So he came charging out of the front porch and punched. punched him. He fell like a thunk. I was terrified. There was our precinct captain lying on the front porch, and he wasn't moving. I thought maybe he was dead. My dad would go to prison. My mother would never stop crying. We'd be in big trouble. I'd have to go to California and live with my grandmother. But eventually, the guy just got up. He dusted off his clothes and went down the stairs, and what was really strange was that after that, he was kind of nice to us. I saw him drinking a beer with my dad in the bar down the street one day. That's just the way things were on Winchester Street. They were settled right on the spot. Then, a few months later, I was sitting at the Off the Street Club on Jackson and Western Avenue. "Can any of you kids recite The Night Before Christmas by heart?" said Don, on the morning that Don McNeil's Breakfast Club radio show was broadcast from the old Off the Street Club. My hand shot up in the air because I had just memorized it. I had this fantasy, you see, of performing it on TV on the amateur hour. An usher grabbed my wrist and took me up to the stage in front of hundreds of other kids, where Don McNeil said, "'Twas the morning after New Year's Eve, and all through the town, not a creature was stirring. No one was around. Is that right?" No! That is wrong! And I recited the whole thing from the beginning. "'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the house." Well, my parents, listening at home on the radio, couldn't believe it was me. Well, neither could I. But I guess the stage bug had bitten me, because here I am up here telling you the story, right? And that night, the green lights atop Cook County Hospital were like glow lights beaming out to me. "You will be just fine, Connie. You'll be all right." And to all, a good night.